Mr. Speaker, ladies and gentlemen, we have to understand that every human being to some extent has an agenda, and every human being to some extent wants acceptance and wants validation. Their side's sole win condition is on this being insincere, but newsflash, as an average, ordinary, intelligent person, I think we can assume that to some extent everyone is like that. In as much as these matcha drinking, tote bag wearing dudes might be kinda annoying because they keep talking about these things, it's not as harmful as compared to those manosphere top G guys. Before as a judge or before their side says, no, that's symmetric. It ties back to the half-baked counterfactual, which was something I POI'd the first speaker and literally talked about in the first 30 seconds of my speech. Their side claims balance. Their counterfactual cannot be a utopia. I don't think they've done enough legwork to be able to explain why on their comparative, absent this, it's going to be better. Because the push coming from side negative was quite clear. We told you that the popularization of this particular trend is uniquely important to be able to countervail and countercheck as an antithesis the predominant narrative of being a top G alpha dog in the name of championing incels. A few reasons why their side cannot take this debate. Number one, they assume that being a performative male exists in a spectrum and that this popularization ultimately allows us to be able to redefine and challenge what it means. Because it's not black or white, right? It's not like it's performative, 100% disingenuous versus on their comparative, you're an authentic person. This debate happens in the real world wherein people are more complicated than that and have deeply ingrained emotional sensitivities, as what I told you in my speech. The biggest problem that they had, that's really all about this idea of validation and trends and all those being insincere and bad, were responded to by my case wherein I talked to you about the diverse reality of being a young man and in instances where you don't know yourself, subscribing to these relatively good women-dictated progressive liberal norms of feminism or whatever is under the sun allows you access to be able to make a good decision. And that is where SARB's unresponded to extension comes in, wherein they explain uniquely about how women are able to reclaim that definition and set that on their own terms in as much as it's insincere, in as much as it's disingenuous, because these kinds of things are absolutely better than the predominant narrative which is likely to take over in the name of being a top G. The second thing is the underbaked counterfactual, wherein I'm not entirely sure what exactly really happens, right? Because at best, DPM and GovWhip, and hopefully not in the reply, try to push symmetricism and at best run a negative case line, but it's not entirely sure why things would necessarily be comparatively better on their side because these disingenuous bigot dudes who can still identify as performative whales will no longer have this ability for us to be able to call it out. And that is something that Sarv and Matthew were able to talk about when they explained that the popularization allows people to be able to call it out, and it ultimately allows these things to be dynamic and change over time so that you can compare who those people really are doing it because they're like that and those people who are faking it to be able to get clout or get in your pants. Mr. Speaker, ladies and gentlemen, on both sides of this house, we want to be able to champion women and men, and we think uniquely coming from side negative, we're allowing these soft boys who otherwise had no alternative to be able to champion their own identity a chance to be able to do so. And in instances where they mess up, we can call them out. Very proud to stand on side neg. Thank you.